Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 here in Memphis, Tennessee on this June the 17th, day before Father's Day. As we roll along, closing in on 16 years on the air in Memphis, Tennessee. And you know that this is the third Saturday of the month, which means, good morning, Frank Barton. I'm just testing you.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Good morning, Larry, and good morning, everybody, again.
We get Frank, one of our wonderful sponsors on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and Frank has just opened up a new store right down the street from us on Mount Moriah. The actual address is
5715.
5715. The grand opening, it's open now, but the grand opening will be a week from Saturday, the June the 24th, and we'll talk more about that later in the show.
Yeah, let's talk more.
Let's talk birds right now, because this is one of my favorite subjects, and you folks out there know that I love to talk to the good folks at Cornell, the Lab of Ornithology, because they have been so good to have guests over all these many years. And so we've got I think it's going to be a fascinating segment here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. There's been a new All About Birds Pocket Guide series bringing 15 new birding titles published in collaboration with the Waterford Press and the Cornell Lab Publishing Group. It came out, these pamphlets, or whatever you want to call them, the birding titles came out on May the 16th, and we're happy to have on Outdoors with Larry Ray Miyoko Chu. She is the Senior Director of Communications for the folks at Cornell Lab. Good morning, Miyoko. How you doing?
Good morning, Larry and Frank. I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Oh, it's good to talk to someone. This is really strange. We just talked just the last segment with Springfield, Massachusetts, and now we're in New York. This is really a Southern show, and we love to hear folks from up northeast talk about how hot it is. So I know that, but tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got to be what you're doing, and then we'll go in to talk about All About Birds Pocket Guide series.
Sure. Well, I've been hooked on birds ever since I was a kid, but I was an urban kid.
Oh.
I grew up in a big city, and I had pigeons in my backyard, and that's how I got to know birds. I eventually branched out to wanting to know more about wild birds, so I ended up becoming an ornithologist, and eventually, instead of studying birds, I decided I wanted to help people learn more about birds and science, and so that's how I ended up where I am today.
And how long have you been with the Cornell Lab?
I have been here about 15 years.
15.
So almost as long as you've been.
Almost as long as we've been on the radio. There you go. We'll talk a little bit about, as a senior director of communications, you folks are putting, and folks, you want to go to a good I like my website, but I tell you what, when you go to the Cornell website, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, go to that website. There's so many cool things on there. And I'm really fortunate to be on the daily mailing list from my good friend Jim Shepard with the Outdoor Wire, and they have a birding wire with some of the most fabulous pictures in it. But tell our listeners a little bit about the new Pocket Guide series.
Sure. Well, you mentioned we have a website called allaboutbackyardbirds.org, which is a great place to find out all kinds of information about any bird you're curious about. But what we did with this pocket series is we took all the birds that people were most likely to be encountering and wondering about and pulled them together in one lightweight book, and then in 15 laminated waterproof fold-out guides, which are great for just slipping in and taking with you, whether you're birding, fishing, or hunting. So what you've got is a lot of information in a small, lightweight amount of space.
Well, it just blew my mind because I'm just looking at, and I really needed where is that? Birding 101. That's me. That's me right there, because my wife knows how to do this, and she'll say, well, there it goes. There goes I know a sparrow and a robin and a crow and a Canadian goose and things along that line, but she'll say, that's a finch. Was it a house finch, or what kind of finch is that? And now you've come up with these things, and it must have been a fascinating. I know your job. You've got a really tough job there, Miyoko. I mean, working
You
at
get to think about birds all day long.
you get to think about birds all the time. How much detail and how long did it take for y'all to put these things together? I mean, how many staff meetings?
Well, it would, if you count all the time it took to develop this content, it would be years and years.
Yeah.
But in order to just take the best of what we developed over the years and put them into these guides that you can just see at a glance all the best of the information, it just took several months. But we hope that becomes a really rich way for people to quickly get up to speed on tips.
Yes.
And bird ID, and even attracting birds to come into your own yard and things like that.
And the popularity of bird watching. I mean, when I was growing up, it got a bad rap. Everyone had scrawny legs, and they're out there with a hard hat on and a net and all these different kind of things.
Yeah.
When you put numbers to this and crunch the numbers, it's pretty amazing worldwide how many people are interested in birds, right?
That's right. I mean, I think some people still have the old stereotype of it being, not the most cool hobby.
Nerdy.
But you're right. 47 million people in the U.S. alone watch birds, and they're doing it whether it's outside their front door or while they're out enjoying the outdoors for other reasons. And as you mentioned, around the world, it's also really taken off, where in some countries now, people are leaping ahead with birding, and they're not even using binoculars. These days they're using cameras. They've got such good zoom lenses, and they're able to get the pictures at the same time.
And a lot of folks may not realize this. The economy affected by bird feeders, bird watching, everything like that. It is a giant when it comes to helping our economy with jobs and the sale. I heard some figure, and I can't even remember it right now, about how much money is spent annually on bird seed.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I mean, we Americans love our birds, and we love to make sure that they have stuff to eat, and that when they come in, we can see all of their diversity and really interesting behaviors right up close.
All right, let's talk about the 15 pamphlets again. What's your favorite?
Well, it's hard to choose a favorite.
Oh, come on now.
But let me tell you, there's two categories. One is the ones where you just want to figure out what bird it is that you're seeing.
Uh-huh.
And those are great. You can pick one for either eastern or western North America, or even your region if you want to do southeast.
Yeah, I've got my region. I got
California, wherever you may happen to be.
Yeah.
But then you've got some on attracting birds and finding their nests and providing food. But I'll tell you, probably the one that I really think is packed full of tips if you're serious about being an outdoors person and really getting to know your birds would be that Birding 101.
Birding 101, and that's what I was just thinking about. Now, can you get these individually, or do you have to come in packs? I wanted to know about that. Do you have to buy the full 15, or how does this work?
You can buy any single one you want or any combination. So
really?
Ultimate flexibility.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my wife has a garden, and she was kind of amazed about the gardening for birds.
That's one of my favorites too, because I love to garden, and it's not always easy to find out which plants are the best ones that are going to attract the birds.
Uh-huh.
And so this is great because you can flip out all these different panels that tell you if you want to attract birds to help them nest, if you want to give them food, and different kinds of food for different kinds of birds, so you're getting the most diverse group of birds coming into your garden.
Well, I'm looking at it right now, and that one's at habitat.network. I noticed it had a different website on the front of it, but the photography in this, it's just I don't know. You guys keep blowing my mind on what you do. But,
well, thank you. We hope it inspires people to check out some of the things they can do around home to bring the birds in.
Well, and again, we're talking to Miyoko Chu. She's the Senior Director of Communications here on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this Saturday before Father's Day. And, folks, if you still hadn't got that Father's Day gift, I think that Miyoko wouldn't mind this for some fathers, right?
All the fathers will love these, and they'll get so much enjoyment about identifying and seeing more birds when they're outdoors.
And I was kind of amazed in this, and I'm going to always ask these crazy questions. As you were in college, here it comes. You ready for this? I mean, you never know when it's going to come out of my mouth here. That you spent part of your time at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Oh, those are lovely places to go to school. I've been there before. But you studied a desert bird called the what?
It is called the phainopepla, and that is actually its common name. It's also the scientific name, which is why it's such a mouthful.
Uh-huh.
It means shining robe, and it really does have a shining robe. The male is all black, beautiful glossy feathers, desert bird.
And you picked that out?
Yeah, I picked it out because it's got such intriguing behaviors and a lot of mysteries about it that I wanted to help dig into.
Well, I looked some of this up. The songbird journeys. I like that. 4 seasons of the life of migratory birds. Now, we down here, Frank, we know what a mallard sounds like.
I know what a migratory bird is, and I've never thought of, I'm pretty limited on what I think migratory birds are.
You are?
Yeah, pretty limited. Ducks and geese.
Ducks and geese. That's what we're here. I'm sorry, Miyoko, but you're in an area here that
and mourning and doves.
But
there's a lot of them. Wood ducks migrate.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean,
a lot of
that's
people don't
exactly
realize
why
that.
I got asked to write this book on songbirds, because people feel like migration among ducks and geese is pretty well known by more people, but not as many people know about these incredible migrations of the songbirds. So that was the impetus for the book.
Well, I know that I can't wait when some of our birds from the south come through here, the hummingbirds. We are a hotbed for the hummingbird migration. Miyoko, thank you for being on us with Outdoors with Larry Ray. These are wonderful things, folks, and give them that website again.
You can go to CornellLabPG.com. That stands for Cornell Lab Publishing Group.
And you can find out and how to get these things. Thank you, and hope you have a great weekend. And we'll try to talk down the road. Tell everybody up there, Pat and Mr. Crow himself, Dr. McGowan, that we love to talk to you folks, okay?
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray and talk about BB guns. You've had a BB gun in your life?
I do.
Yeah, you still do.
And still have one that's going to go to my grandson.
There you go. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
You can find